You're listening to the Life with Old Dogs podcast, and I'm your host, Dawn Mimnaugh, primary caretaker of all of our wonderful senior German Shepherds right here at Woody's Place Senior German Shepherd Sanctuary. Hey there, and welcome back to Life with Old Dogs podcast. This is the last episode for season 2, Sanctuary Life, and we are finishing up with a little Q&A with Mr. Woody's Place, my husband Ken. How are you?
Good. I'm good.
Okay.
I don't want to make any air noises.
Okay,
Try not to breathe.
Okay. All right. Okay. So this is our second recording, and Mr. Woody's Place didn't realize how powerful the microphone was, so it picked up a lot of noises. Okay. So anyway, all right. Let's refocus, regroup here. All right. So, Mr. Woody's Place, what is your involvement with Woody's Place?
I take care of the dog, cats, and when you go away on vacation or to visit someone on the weekend, I feed the dogs and take the dogs out for walks. And I help out with a couple of fundraisers, and when it snows, I make trails.
That is true. Mr. Woody's Place is very, very good at, taking the snowblower out there and making trails for the for our senior German Shepherd resident senior German Shepherds out there in the snow, which is really important actually because it's hard for some of them to get around. All right. Okay, so when I'm away, and really, you make it sound like I'm away a lot on vacation and on the weekends, and I'm really not. So occasionally I go away. So when I am away, how do you handle running the show in my absence? Because I know it's a lot.
It's just a little tough, but I think I do a good job with feeding. But when it's time to take them out for walks, they don't all want to go. So that's a little frustrating, and it could be a little overwhelming feeding the cats and feeding the dogs all in one shot. 6 bowls, 7 bowls, whatever.
Right. Yes. That's
medicine.
Yep. All that. Absolutely.
Water. Sorry.
Water. Yeah. Yeah.
Water.
We were just having this discussion yesterday. Water. But yes, it can be a lot, for one person, especially when you don't do it all the time, you don't have the routine down. But I think I leave pretty good details on who gets what. And you seem to manage to do fine, making sure that they get their appropriate medications and supplements. So, and I definitely appreciate you helping me out when I'm not here. All right. So how do you feel when we get a new resident? Like we just got Nona. How do you feel about that?
I'm used to it now. I'm usually the last one to know anyway, so it's all good.
Yes, I think you found out about Miss Nona on Facebook, actually.
Yeah, and Savvy.
Savvy.
Yeah, Savvy. Sorry.
Yeah.
Sazzy's Savvy.
Yeah.
Same thing.
No, it's not really.
All right.
But
I'll start to get her name right then, because I've been calling her Savvy.
it is Savvy.
Oh, what did I say? Sazzy?
Yeah.
Oh. All right.
Yeah. It's not intentional. I don't try to leave you in the dark, but you don't ever really seem to mind. So I just don't feel the need to tell you until it's actually time, till I know for sure that they're going to be walking through the door, because sometimes plans do fall through. All right. So how do you feel about when a resident passes? I mean, we have some dogs for a long time, like Heidi was with us for 5 years. And then we have, some dogs with us for a short time, like Tucker. He was only with us for 48 hours. So how are you affected when a resident passes?
It's sad, but I guess I've become a little bit used to it. I get more upset than I see when I see you're upset than actually, I don't know. Yeah, it's just life in a sanctuary with old dogs, I guess. So
Right. Spot on right there. It's part of the gig for sure. Yeah, you get upset, but then, you just have to accept it and move on. And in earlier days, we Mr. Woody's place used to actually dig the graves for the dogs, and we would have them buried at the sanctuary. But that just became physically challenging, especially in the wintertime. There's lots of rocks in the ground. That's really hard. And then we also have a high water table. So, as we're digging graves, sometimes they were filling up with water, which would really be an unpleasant situation. So we we opt to have the dogs cremated now, and it actually helps with the grieving process too. At least I think it does anyway. All right, moving on to something a little bit more positive. So, you graciously help out with events like Canines in the Country, which is coming up this Sunday, FYI, at the Carlton Drake Memorial Park in Newfoundland from 11 to 3 p.m. That's September 12th. And then you also dress up as Mr. Santa for pet photos with Santa. And, we can't help but notice, that's me and the volunteers, that you really seem to enjoy interacting with the pets, especially little kitties. When they come your way, you seem to light up. So with that and Woody's Place in general, all the interactions with the animals here and at events, is that something you thought you'd be doing at this stage of your life?
Never thought I'd be doing this in my life.
No?
Dressing up as Santa Claus?
And
no.
And holding dogs to get their pictures taken?
No.
No?
No.
Okay. Well, I have to say you do a great job at it, and we are grateful.
Coronavirus took care of that.
We are grateful for it. Yep, I know. Coronavirus definitely impeded our fundraising last year, but hopefully we'll be at it again this year. We will see. We will see. But all right, so you've worked with most of the same guys for about 2 decades now, or a little over 2 decades, and we've been doing Woody's Place for over a decade now. So I'm sure your coworkers are aware that you pretty much live with old dogs day in and day out. Do they think you're crazy, or?
No, not at all. They don't think I'm crazy. Actually, there's one guy who fosters huskies, I think. And sometimes when we get a little overload of donated food, I've passed along food to him, and he's very appreciative. So we talk a little bit.
Okay. And just to clarify, the donated food that he's talking about doesn't come from our online supporters. There are food banks that offer us food, since we're a nonprofit organization, and it's typically food that we don't use, but we will take the food from the food bank and distribute it to other organizations for their animals. Yeah, not a big deal, but I didn't want anybody thinking that you're donating food and we're giving it to other people. That's definitely not the case.
The pedigree stuff or stuff we didn't use.
Right. Definitely not the case. But okay, so that's cool. You have somebody at work, who kind of understands what we're doing here. All right. We also have rescue cats too that we've acquired from the EPAA Spay and Neuter Clinic. There are indoor cats, and we have 4 here. And then we have a feral cat colony that we inherited when we bought this property that we care for. And you really seem to love cats. There's no question about that. So the question is, Mittens wants to know if you're ever going to build her a catio.
Man, that's a setup. I don't know. We'll see. I got some other projects I got to do first, but she's definitely on the list. How's that?
That's good. That's good. Mittens is our Maine Coon, and she's a little prima donna of the house. And she has been begging for a catio. So, so hopefully one day she'll get her catio. All right. We're actually moving right along here. This isn't going to be a long Q&A. So we're gonna go for the last question here, and that is, when I brought Woody home in 2007. That was December 2007. Did you ever imagine that the trajectory of our lives would change the way that it has?
No, couldn't see this coming. Not in a million years. But I go with it. It's all good.
Now, I admit I didn't exactly see the trajectory of our lives going this way either. It just kind of happened, or maybe it was meant to be, who knows? But I do know one thing. The trajectory of our lives is going to change even more because I want Woody's Place to be a bigger and better sanctuary in a bigger and better location. What do you think about that?
Well, that would be great. I could see that happening.
All right, cool.
Someone's got to help the animals.
There we go. There we go. Okay, so that's about all we're going to get out of Mr. Woody's Place. He is a great help and an asset, but as you can see, he is a man of few words. There's no doubt about it. And he's also very stressed and nervous. He's been stressing about the podcast all day. All right, so that is it for season 2. Season 3, we're going to start that in a couple of weeks. And we are going in season 3. We're going to be discussing diseases, medical health issues that we have endured here at Woody's Place. We seem to get the same ailments over and over. And I've talked with other people who have German Shepherds, rescues, and have never dealt with degenerative myelopathy or osteosarcoma or bloat. And, that's just mind-boggling to me, but we have. So we are going to touch base on the most common diseases or medical ailments and have a couple of guest speakers on as well. So hang in there 2 more weeks and we'll be back. And until then, be well.